to a very special Command Center. This is a special edition because we are out in Foxboro at the Patriots facility where the Commanders spent the week gearing up for the first preseason game of the season. Welcome into Command Center, Commanders family. I'm here with future Hall of Famer Brian Mitchell. I am Brian Colbert Jr. Our crew is back out in Ashburn at training camp, but we are here out in Foxboro, baby. Joint practices are beginning. B, I know you have a lot of memories. It's a couple years since me and you've been out here, but I know you've been here a few times, man. When you think about being here, these joint practices, being in New England, a team that's storied like this, man, what comes to mind?
Well, it's the time when you become a team for real. You know, when you're out there practicing and the uniform comes on, you start putting on the pads, you're going against your own teammates. So you have a tendency of not wanting to do something too much. Now, you don't want to hurt anybody. When you go against another team, you let it all hang out a little bit, and now you begin to put yourself against somebody else because normally at practice, you begin to know what they're doing. In this thing now, you gotta depend on your fundamentals. You gotta depend on your film study. If you can go out there and do that, then great things can happen for you. But you're not gonna be able to go by memory. Because if you go by memory, you try to go by memory at practice, you're gonna get embarrassed.
B, Mitch, is there a nuance to showing too much at joint practice as opposed to the game? Because again, these guys are practicing together, but they got a game to play in a couple days, man. What is that like? How do you balance that control but also that aggression?
Well, normally at joint practice, the coaches understand the veterans, the main guys are going to go in practice. You're going to get the young guys in the game. So what they're going to do is go out there and play, and then they're going to allow the young guys to go out there and see what they can retain. Right now it's about who can retain it and bring it to the field. You know, the veteran guys, you look at the Jadens, the Drake Mays, they're not playing in that preseason game. All the younger guys, the guys trying to make a name for themselves are going to be playing in the preseason game. And the coaches understand that. But it's more base. They're doing nothing but base defense. It's mano a mano. You're going to see if you can beat the guy in front of you. We're not going to sit up there and scheme up for you in preseason.
Mano y mano Commanders family preseason is finally here. We are so excited. We have a great show for you out here in Foxboro and out in Ashburn as well. But first things first, let's hear from our fearless leader, Head Coach Dan Quinn.
Having a joint practice and a game is good for us, for Adam and myself, for a lot of reasons. The first one is evaluations. There'll be some that'll play a lot in the practice and none in the game. There'll be another crew of players that'll play some at practice and some in the game, and then there'll be another group of players that'll play limited here today and a lot in the game. So the goal over those two sessions, how many evaluations can you get? As opposed to one that gets a bunch here and a bunch in the game, can we spread some of those out so by the time we get into the weekend, man, we got a lot of tape to look at and a lot of guys to put in the spot.
Shout out to our head coach, Dan Quinn. Now, DQ is entering his second season in the burgundy and gold after leading the Commanders to a 12-5 regular season along with an NFC Championship appearance in 2024. Now, Quinn and company kick off the preseason tomorrow night in New England, so let's take a look at the game details. It's time for your winning numbers, brought to you by Maryland Lottery. Please play responsibly. Now, the Commanders kick off against the Patriots at 7:30 p.m. out here in Foxboro. You can watch the game on WSA 9 with Brian Mitchell and Chick Hernandez calling the game from up in the booth. And I'll be down the sidelines catching up with Commanders players. The game is also available in other markets, so be sure to check your local listings. And speaking of my guy, B. Mitch, he had a chance to catch up with the voice of the Washington Commanders, my guy, Brand Weinstein, out at joint practice. This is your can't miss moment presented by FanDuel. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official partner of the Washington Commanders.
All right, thank you, Brian, with Brian Mitchell.
All right.
I remember back in the good old days, you go to Latrobe and play the Steelers for like a joint scrimmage. This is new now. Like in the middle of training camp, we do these joint practices. What do you want to see the team get out of today?
Well, I want to see them go out there and see what the offensive line, defensive line can do because I believe that that's going to be the key to the success of this football team.
Yeah.
You want to see them match up against other people. They've been going against each other. Us in the media, we've been saying what we think about this or that. Now they're going against other people that's going to be really, really trying to, have some success against them. And then you want to see them get great work. You don't want to see no fights and things like that. That does happen sometimes. But having coaches that are friends can normally keep that down some. We want to see great work and see how they're going to operate. Receivers against their defensive backs. Our defensive backs against their receivers. All those things are big things I have my eyes
The
on.
defensive backs are something I want to get to, but also I think schematically, and I don't know what New England's going to show, but this is a new staff with a young quarterback. I don't think you know what you're going to get, and I think the element of surprise is going to help Washington too.
Yeah, the element of surprise will help, and I think that mere fact, new coaching staff, guys want to impress the coach. So Washington now will probably be in their toughest practice that they've had. When you go out there, you first get into the pass, you want to go for it a little bit. but you're against your teammates. You still hold back to a certain extent. Now you're going against guys that are trying to impress their coaches. You want to definitely impress your coaches and be ready for the game on Friday. So we may see a little elevated intensity.
You know, the biggest difference to me from last summer around this time to this summer is the corner room. It is so much deeper, so much more talented than it was a year ago. And I think, and Joe Witt basically said this the other day, because of this and because of the upgrades on the line, they can play a style that they wanted to play last year but didn't feel like they could. I think we're going to see that for the first time today.
You're definitely going to see it, and I think right now you're going to see the starters actually going against their starters in practice. You know, you're going to get a chance to see that because you won't see that on Friday. You know, so today will probably be what this team is going to get the most out of today. Now you get to match up against guys like Stephon Diggs on the other side. You know, I don't know if Christian Gonzalez is going to practice or not. He's coming off his injury or whatever. But still, you're going to see some quality cornerbacks going against our receivers. And I think Joe, as he stated the other day, they want to play a certain style of game. And until you get those pieces, you can't. They feel they have the pieces.
Yeah, and Trey Amos has really looked the part the whole time.
Louisiana, baby, Louisiana. You know, I'm giving all the credit to the Raging Cajuns. But Trey has come in. He seems like he's supposed to be here. He's comfortable. He's not overwhelmed by the situation. And that's half the battle. A lot of guys come to the NFL and they're like, oh, man, I used to watch that guy. Well, you're one of those guys right now, and you better act like it, because if you can't act like it, you can't deal with it, you're going to have problems. Trey doesn't seem to be phased whatsoever.
All right, let me ask you about the offense here. The offensive line's had a number of nicked players here, moving some pieces around. Andrew Wiley's been moving around throughout camp. This is year 2 for Cliff and Jaden Daniels, and this is, I think, the first, real glimpse we're going to get today. I don't think you're going to see a lot Friday night. The glimpse we're going to get today of what second-year offense looks like.
Well, we're not going to see much, even in practice today, but it's going to be more or less, you know, you're going to play some base stuff. But the offensive line now has depth. And when you see some guys nicked up on the line, Coleman didn't make the trip. You know, when you see those type of things, Cosme is still coming off his injury. You have other guys that you could just plug right in. You know, that wasn't like that last year. When you plugged other guys in, you were concerned. This year, you now know we have about 8 deep that you can be very, very comfortable with.
And on that side of the ball, the 2 rookies that I'm watching, everybody's been watching Bill in practice. He's been explosive here. So what kind of role will he have? And your guy, Jalen Lane, who wants to be new you here in Washington, so we'll see.
Those 2 guys have made plays every day, and I believe right now, going against another team, make the plays again. I have a little thing I always say, get your name called. It can be called in a positive way or a negative way. They've been getting it in a positive way. Let's keep that going.
I think it's going to be the most interesting few days of training camp thus far up here in Foxboro. Back to you, Brian.
Shout out to my guys, Bram and Beamish, for breaking it down. Now, it's time for Best Seat in the House, presented by SeatGeek. The most disruptive idea in ticketing, a ticket that works. Expect the expected. SeatGeek. Commanders family with possibly the most famous commander ever. Tressway with the point. Out here at joint practice in New England, man, how'd it go today?
Went great. First day out here putting our pass on against a new team, and I feel amazing. I feel like we came out here and competed. You know, we did what we were supposed to do today.
What was that reception like with some of these guys that were here when you was here, seeing you out here, man? They give you a hard time?
Yeah, no, they didn't give me. I probably gave them more hard time than they gave me. You know, I definitely, you know, I'm not really a trash talker, but some of them heard me today. You know, so I think it was some things that kind of need to get settled. But at the end of the day, and outside the white lines, it's all love, and you know, hope the best for those guys.
Dude, this is just so fun. Like, bringing the momentum, you know, from Ashburn out here, getting to see, like, we got a game in a couple of days, but getting to practice and, like, hit somebody with a different color jersey on, and, like, and all you got to do is cut Luvu loose. Luvu's hyping everybody up. So it was just, yeah, you kind of get, like, some of those, like, jitters and that juice flowing. And so I love that we do this. It's always fun seeing the guys. And then whenever we flip on the tape, it's cool. You just see guys who are like, hey, they're having a good camp, but then they start to shine. And so, yeah, there's a lot of things to be excited about.
Your first joint practice, heading into your first preseason game. Brother, how you feeling?
Man, I'm excited, man. You know, it's cool to get out here, go against, you know, somebody else for a change. And, you know, it's all competition. It's all good work. So it's been fun.
Your first joint practice, you got to do it against the New England Patriots, man. How'd it feel?
It felt amazing. It felt good to get out here and, you know, hit somebody else and go against something else than our offense and see some new plays. And we got some things to work on, but we're good.
There's a lot of young fellas in that secondary room. This is their first time out here like this, man. What kind of advice were you giving them? How do you help them be more comfortable in situations like this, especially in enemy territory?
Just understand, man, it's all a game at the end of the day, man. It's the same game that we play in Ashburn when we go practice every day. So just don't make it much bigger than what it is, you know. You go out there and compete, know what you're looking at, communicate it at a high level, and just play fast, man. We always say to each other, you know, take a deep breath. So that's the biggest thing. Just take that deep breath, process what's going on and then go out there and play fast.
And as we head to preseason now, we know you've been here and done this before. However, we have a lot of young guys on this team, a lot of new guys on this team. What kind of advice do you give them to stay comfortable and calm in moments like this that they're not familiar with?
Yeah, I think that the game happens so fast. I mean, like, and even coming from big time college to coming in and playing pro ball, it happens so fast. You gotta, like, I think DQ says it the best, where how hard you work all week frees you up to where you can just go cut it loose on the field. And it's hard to do. It's hard to, like, play with that kind of freedom, like that kind of trust. But man, you just got to do it. Just cut it loose. Let the game come to you and just let it rip, dude.
I think it's very important as far as development, especially for the young guys who hasn't really competed at this level yet. So they get a chance to come out here and like compete on a practice level and go up against other guys from other teams. Before they even get a real game experience, they get to experience guys from other teams and techniques and stuff that other teams use. So, going into their first game, they'll at least have the experience from the joint practice to go into.
We've been going against each other, so to go to a chance to, another defense, that may not know our plays, kind of a lot of unscouted looks and things like that. It's really good, and you've seen a lot of guys make plays today, probably stuff to learn from, and I think it'll be like that for the rest of the preseason.
And as a rookie, this is different for you, right? We're on enemy territory right now, but we did see the fans pull up, man. Anything surprise you out here today?
Yeah, a lot. Like you said, it was my first joint practice, so I didn't really know what to expect. But just coming out here and seeing our fans travel, man, it meant everything. And just the support that they're showing means everything.
Well, our goal is to come up here, get better, and compete. I feel like we did a good job of that today.
And so many people are excited about this wide receiver room, and it's not just adding Debo, man. It's also the addition of you. What is your expectation for yourself as you come into this season, as you come into the preseason? What's your expectation for yourself?
Man, just be myself, man. I think just to be myself. I think in my first, couple years in Minnesota, I was a really solid contributor. I played in another, talented receiver room. I carved out a role for myself and, was able to contribute on a really good team. I'm blessed to be on another really good team with a really good quarterback, great pieces around me. So I just want to, carve out a role again, like I said before, and just put my best foot forward. And usually when I do that, good things happen. And at the end of the day, we win games. We was a game away from the Super Bowl. That doesn't come around often. So kind of putting my own goals to the side and kind of putting the team first because even going that far, it felt special, and I want to be a part of that.
What is B-Rob's expectation for himself as he enters this season?
No expectations. I'm just going to run it up, run the score up. I'm not going to put no limits on nothing. I know what I can do, and I ain't going to put no limits on the things I know I can do.
And as the vet that's done this a time or two, right, you're not getting a ton of preseason reps. However, I understand what that preparation is for you still. How do you still get the most out of these moments when you're not on the field as much as maybe some of the younger guys?
You get that mind speed. You train your mind to work. Even though you're not out there, you're processing what's going on. So you're still getting a rep mentally. And at the end of the day, football is more mental than physical anyway. So if I can get that jump mentally, then the physical will take care of itself because I've repped that over and over again in my mind, and my body's just going to follow suit.
And how much does it elevate you when you look around? Okay, we're in New England. However, we got Commanders fans all throughout here, man. How great does that make you feel knowing you're in enemy territory?
That was so cool. I don't know if it was a pick or like a touchdown. Something happened, and we had just finished field goal, and I'm talking with and Matt, and all of a sudden we just hear everybody go nuts, and I look over, and we had the ball, and I was like, well, those are our fans. Like, that stuff, like, as a player, like, as a competitor, because, like, I'm thankful I get to come out here, I get to play ball, but, like, the fans don't have to come out here. Like, they're choosing to come out here and be excited, and so it's cool. I saw somebody with an old Trustway 5 jersey that I had signed, so.
How'd that feel?
That was kind of cool, like, because usually now I see 5s, and I'm like, all right, but now it's like, when he turned around and showed, I was like, oh, sweet, there you go.
It's always appreciated, especially for me, man. It's not unnoticed for me. It's something that's, been impactful in my entire career, just to have that support. And so to see them come out in droves no matter where we go, it's a blessing. And you don't take it for granted because, that loyalty goes a long way. So I got no excuse to come out here and compete my behind off because they've driven from however far and flew out from however far. So I'm going to do that in return.
And Kane, we got the first preseason game coming up, the first one of your NFL career. That's a huge milestone, man. How excited are you, and what are your expectations for yourself?
Yeah, I'm super excited. My expectations for myself is just go out there and make plays and be a playmaker. That's what I was brought here to do, and I'm going to just continue to show coaches and to show the world, what I'm capable of.
I just want to just continue to dominate my role, man. Receiver, punt returner, kick returner, whatever the case is, man. I'm just trying to dominate that and help prove my worth to the team.
Jay, congratulations on this, brother. This is a big deal, man. Congrats on your first preseason, first joint practice. We're here with the guy, Jay Lane, my boy. Shout out to our rookies getting their first taste of joint practice on their way to their first preseason game. Now, here's a look at our full rookie class. Some huge expectations for these guys. And speaking of expectations, we always have big expectations for our Command Center podcast crew. They are back out in Ashburn right now, ready to talk more about this preseason. It's time for Securing the W, presented by Hercules Fence. Security in every job. Fellas, it's all you.
Thanks, BC. You know, he's been up there for a couple days in Foxboro.
Yeah.
Enjoy yourself.
I don't know if I want to spend all that time up in Foxboro.
Well, I hope he's enjoying all the clam chowder he can eat. All right, that's what I hope he's doing.
Guys, so you know, obviously we're kind of in the throes of preseason right now.
Yeah.
Like, as a player, what was your preseason process like, and what were your expectations for the preseason?
Mine was just to fine tune everything that I was doing, you know, up to that point. Especially when you get to the point of being a veteran, you kind of know what to expect. So I go into each and every week and saying to myself, okay, what did I didn't do well last week, or what did I didn't do well in that preseason game? And I'm trying to fine tune. I'm trying to get to that point. By week 1, I'm ready to go. I'm feeling like I'm ready to go out here and play a live game.
Yeah.
Was there ever any fear for you that you weren't going to be on the roster? Was that ever a thought for
I told you the only year I've ever felt that was year 14.
Yeah,
year
last year.
14. I didn't even know it. I got to a game and so the reporter asked me, so how does it feel to be on the bubble? I'm like,
Do you remember who it was? Who
I
was
didn't
it?
know. I don't even know who it was. I didn't care who it was. I was like, bubble?
Yeah.
Man.
I've never heard that word before.
And so it was crazy that I didn't know. And that game, I actually played into the second half. And I'm like, I guess I'm on the bubble.
Yeah, I'm on that bubble now.
But as you know, we were playing the Ravens, and I drove down. I had like 3 catches, and I ended up scoring a touchdown. I remember Coach telling me, you ain't got to go no more. I'm like, I shouldn't have. I should have been out there with those dudes. But I mean, honestly, bro, it's football.
It's
and
part of it.
It's something that you know comes with the territory.
Yeah. I got to ask you, Logan. How did it feel in training camp waking up every day knowing today could be my last day?
I tell you, I still have stress streams. I'll wake up like, I'm late for a meeting or whatever.
Wake up sweating.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh gosh. And so so for me, it's so different to hear you guys talk about it. And I look at this roster, and like the preseason for me is not for the top, really 22 guys offensively, maybe some specialists. So we're getting to 40 guys, right?
Yeah.
So I look at the bottom half, and I'm like, this is where that's where the roster's made.
No, that's where it's at.
That's where I was for 10 years, and it's so stressful because you're like, man, I didn't make that play in practice, or I didn't do this in the preseason game, and you're like, is that going to be the thing that offsets my season?
But of course, at year 9 of your career, did you not?
Dude, I played in the Hall of Fame game year 10, bro. So like, come on, man, I was in the mix.
Third quarter, you out
I was
there.
in there.
I will say this: if Logan had anxiety and stress before or during the whole camp, I can man, look, he looked phenomenal out there in practice. He was one of those guys, and I broke the huddle. I knew Logan was going to do his job. So I'm glad you had that kind of pressure on yourself to make sure that you didn't have to worry about those guys cutting you. I mean, you was worried about it, but you went out there and did your job every time.
And so I look at these guys, the back half of the roster, and I feel like that's really where the expectations are for the roster.
That's where the championships are won.
Yeah.
Like, you're only good as the 53rd person on your roster plus the practice squad.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, if you as a coach does not feel confidence putting that 53rd guy in, you have cut the wrong player or you have chose the wrong player because everybody got to pitch in.
How exciting it was as a veteran when you could come off the field and then watch those young guys who've been eating in practice get a chance to eat in that game, or that preseason game. That's when you really see what you have on your team. You like to see yourself. If my 3rd and 4th guys are out there killing people like this, just imagine what we can do as a whole core, together as a whole unit.
Well, we always, here go the heartbreaking thing about training camp. Here go the heartbreaking thing about the football. You become friends with all of these guys. You don't care what number they are on the roster, but in our head, we know everybody cannot make this team. And I think those friendships and those bonds, they're never broken, but you still feel for that player while you're watching him try to live his dream out like you living your dream out.
Yeah, so real quick, we talked about our expectations, kind of our experience. What's the expectation for this team as the preseason continues? Is it literally just finding the bottom half of the roster, or is it something more specific?
I think they need to stay one. It's about getting healthy, and it's about getting rotational pieces, and it's about some people raising their hand and say, yes, I want to be a part of this, and I can contribute to this. So if we can get out of the preseason healthy, I don't think we're gonna just dig deep into the playbook in the preseason. So I think we're gonna be a bland offense, a bland defense. I think they want to see people run, tackle, and hit. Long as we do that at a high clip, I think we'll be
compete, right?
Yeah,
just
I have yet to see a team in the preseason be that same team in the regular season. I mean, it just doesn't always carry over. Like when I say there's like. The Ravens for years dominate the preseason.
Yeah,
never win. They didn't dominate the regular season like that. So I just want this team to continue to grow and say, hey, show your imprint again. Say, this is who we are. This is how we're going to play. with the guys who are trying to make the squad now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to see those guys who are trying to make the squad look like the guys last year that played in the regular season.
When you said that, a memory came back to me.
Oh, no.
Coach Spurrier, first year here, he let the whole bag loose in the preseason.
Oh, right. They were scoring like 50 points.
We scored 50 points a game, and the regular season started, and we couldn't score a point. And that's because we didn't let them see everything during the preseason.
Yeah.
So Tanner, right, like the preseason is for us to find players for this team. Like you said, you know the first 25.
Yeah.
It's finding the other 28.
Shout out to our guys back in Ashburn. Now, we are back here in New England, and one guy who knows the Patriots very well is defensive end Dietrich Wise. Here is what he had to say out at joint practice.
Being here for 8 years, I learned one way, learned a lot of great ball, learned a lot about leadership, learned a lot about bringing everybody together, I learned a lot about myself. And then now coming over here, they're asking different things of me, and I feel like it's allowing me to use the things that I've learned and then like open up with it and keep scaling up, you know? I would like to watch film to really get a good answer, but we showed a lot of fight today. We was definitely up front, very physical in the run game, did a lot of good things. But once again, I want to see the film to see what we really did. We've been doing a great job. Like I said, with Coach Quinn has done a wonderful job of bringing everybody together, setting the tone, setting the standards, telling everybody what we are, showing us what brotherhood is, telling us what brotherhood is, and then going out there every day and highlighting all of our good attributes, and then also telling everybody what we need to work on.
Now, it's time for Top 5, presented by UA Local 5 Plumbers, protecting the health of the nation's capital since 1890. And here are the top 5 stats for our guy, Dietrich Wise, who is entering his first season with Washington. Some big numbers there, but the one that stands out that we hoping he brings here, those 34 sacks. Nice to have a dog with Super Bowl experience on our roster. Now, we're having a lot of fun out here at Foxboro. However, I do miss my command center family. So let's send it back to Ashburn, where our guys are catching up at training camp.
Thanks, BZ. Guys, we're staring down the barrel of week 3 of training camp. What are you guys keeping an eye on going into this week 3 and storylines?
Well, my guy's Cade Madrono. You know,
you love that guy.
I usually don't like guys from UCLA, all right? But this guy's an all-around athlete. Any linebacker that used to play wide receiver, I got a linebacker right here that used to play running back right here. Not the fastest guy, but hey, Cade.
You see how he's throwing them at you?
Right, you want to go there.
But real talk, what was your 40, Fletch?
4.38.
And what was yours?
4.37.
Oh, come on. You can't even be honest.
What are you talking about? A tenth of a second faster than him. But Cade Madrono is another guy that can just flat out run. The big questions about him is, can he take the physicality when it comes to in-trench warfare? Can he take the physicality when somebody trying to run straight at him? I think he'll be able to do it.
I'm still looking forward to how this backfield rotation is going to shape out. A lot of really good runners in that backfield. Yeah. Bill Mary, JCM, how's that all going to take shape? He's been explosive. He's made a ton of plays on the practice field. Can he develop a nice role for him going into the regular season?
Is that tough for a young running back to kind of carve that role out? Because he's a runner, but the pass protection element.
I would say this. Well, the pass protection is
a must.
Yeah. But I would say this, for a rookie coming to the league, I think running back is probably the easiest position to come in and
translate,
play. Because if you can run the football, you know how to just your natural instincts coming in. That's the pass protection piece that you have to pick up. They have to be able to trust you to know the protections, because you got these $40, $50, $60 million quarterbacks that you got to protect.
Yeah.
So, but as far as running the ball, I think rookie running backs, they make the easiest transition.
And they're going to have about 400 carries. Let's say this year, 400 carries. I think you can share that 400 carries with a couple of backs, with B-Rob, with Eckler. I think Eckler toted the ball with 110 times last year. It's enough balls to go around back there.
I think for me, I'm gonna look at the wide receiver room.
Always, man.
As far as you got young talent out there. You got some of the guys that's veterans that have been elsewhere. Osborne, you got Brooks, you got these guys that's gonna be trying to gallop, gonna be making plays and trying to make a stance for saying, hey, maybe I'm gonna be in that rotation of 3 or 4 wide receivers. So that's gonna be something that I'm gonna always.
McCaffrey. Now that you bring a wide receiver, McCaffrey is the one.
Can't forget about McCaffrey. Yeah.
I always everybody likes to talk about this year's draft. I always say let's stay with the draft from last year. Who matures? Who takes it to another step? And I think McCaffrey is one of those guys that takes his game to another step.
Logan, let me ask you this. Pass rush has always been a big question mark. Obviously, I had Von Miller. What are you expecting to see, or what would you like to see from those pass rushers moving forward?
Honestly, just a continuation of what they've been doing, and it's really the whole defense. Like we got in that argument a couple weeks ago, like off air, about like coverage or rush.
Yes.
Yeah. The coverage has been playing great, and it's allowed Joe Witt Jr. to kind of be in his bag from a pressure standpoint.
Yeah.
We got the AA packages, we got those fire zone pressures, and really like they've been able to cultivate pressures not just from one-on-ones, but also finding good matchups for like Frankie Louvu and Bobby Wagner. Kane Madrano had some good reps the other day in practice. So I look at that and I say to myself, like, if they can cover this way, then the pressure's not going to be an issue, right? It just depends on whether this is real, you know. So as we get further into the preseason, we see the starters more against Cincinnati, joint practice against Baltimore. I think that's where the questions get answered. Can you hold up? I mean, they've been playing great, man. Can you hold up to that level moving forward? And so that's something that I'm really curious
I think they got this rotation, especially on this defensive line. When you add a Dietrich Wise and you add a Javon Kinlaw, what you're saying is I want to win on first down. I want to win on first down, so I force them to go third and long. Like then we get into the Frankie Louvu coming off the edge. Then we get into the Colin Farrells and Lawrence coming off the edge and everybody else. But I think we're built right now to win on first down.
And that's the key. We used to always have a saying, you have to earn the right to rush the passer.
You got to earn the right to rush the passer.
That is so old school.
No, it's true.
I know it's true.
It's hard to rush the passer
and third and
three or less.
Yeah.
You want to get them, ideally, you want to get them to 3rd and 5 or more.
Yeah.
Even 3rd and 4 is still, you can run
They can run that draw on you, anything.
3rd and 5 plus is how you make your money. You want to get that offense to 3rd and 5 plus. How do you do it? By being able to win first down, second down, stopping the run. Shoring up the edges. One of the things you mentioned, Wise, getting bigger on the edges.
Dude, he's had a great camp so far.
Perimeter runs was a major issue for us. We can't give up our edge. We have to set hard edges, let the pursuit come inside out, and now you get them to 2nd and 8. And then you get them at 3rd and 5 plus, and let the guys pin their ears back.
Now you finna send the dogs in.
And get after the quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, like it's so fun to talk about because I feel like this team is so interesting and different every year.
Yeah.
But we got to get back to Brian. So Brian, back to you.
BC.
Thank you to the fellas for dropping some notes from the last 2 weeks of training camp. Now, B. Mitch, it wasn't too long ago. You were lacing up to face those Patriots out here in Foxboro. So what do you say we throw it back for some of your preseason memories? B, I don't think I ever get tired of seeing your highlight tape. That was a bad man right there. Yeah. And before we end the show, B, what were you trying to get out of joint practice when you come here, when you think of these moments, man? What was B. Mitch, the dog, trying to get?
It was another step, in the whole process. I've always said, starting in the offseason, I had steps of where I wanted to be by a certain time. So when the season actually starts, I was ready to go. And I want to push myself to a point where I knew I can go. In practice, you can only go so far against your own teammates. But once you got against another team and you begin to get in the preseason game, you push it to the limit. And I knew when the season started, I can go. I knew how far I can go. I knew I had already tortured myself in the offseason. So it was that another step coming up to where now I'm seeing somebody else do it differently. Just like when you rehab, I always felt that if you tell me to run 5 yards, put my foot down, run 5 yards, put my foot down, I can do that even if I'm hurt. But if I'm running for that 5 yards and somebody shows up, I have to instinctively make a move. That's what you did when you played against guys from other teams. And whenever I knew I can do that, I knew I was ready to go for prime time.
And B, like you said, we're excited to see these Commanders push it to the limit. A fun show out here. It's crazy to think we're already in preseason, which means the regular season is right around the corner.
It's coming, baby.
For Brian Mitchell, Brian Cooper Jr., our guys out in Ashburn, this is Command Center. We'll check y'all next week. Actually, we'll check y'all Monday during our live show.